Vojvodine television,
Yes.
right? Yes. Vojvodine television.
Ja sam Jasna Potočnik-Topler, profesorica na Univerzitetu u Mariboru, dakle tačnije na Fakultetu za turizam. Tamo predajem komunikacijske predmete, dakle retoriku i isto tako engleski, pa bavim se i turizmom, festivalskom, kulturnom i literarnim turizmom. Dakle, to su nekako moja područja.
I'm Dr. Alan Jepson from the University of Hertfordshire in the UK.
Hello, my name is Rob Davidson. I'm the managing director of MEKST Knowledge, which is a company specializing in business events. I'm based in London.
Dolazili ste i ranije u Novi Sad?
Bila sam ovdje i prošle godine, isto tako na MEKST-u, i tako da ovaj put mi je drugi put i svake godine je bolje.
What was your reason for coming to Serbia?
I was an invited speaker at the MEKST conference, so I can discuss my research on community festivals and events.
I'm a very frequent visitor to your country. I started coming here 12 years ago, and in fact Novi Sad was my first city in Serbia. I was invited to teach at the University of Novi Sad, and it was a very great pleasure for me. It was a new country, and I think I can say I fell in love with Serbia immediately, and now I come here maybe 5 or 6 times every year, usually Belgrade or Novi Sad, but I also like to spend my holidays in Serbia in places like Zlatibor and so on. So it's a fantastic country and I love coming here.
Kakav je vaš prvi utisak bio kada ste došli ovamo?
Da je to jedan divan grad. Bila sam iznenađena jer prije bila sam samo u Beogradu. I reći moram da mi se Novi Sad više sviđa.
Bolji smo.
Ovdje mi je neka bolja atmosfera. Ne znam, možda zato što imate puno studenata, uvijek se nešto događa, tako da ulice nikad nisu prazne i to mi se jako sviđa. Dakle, Novi Sad živi i to mi se čini, to je bitno. Ispričavam se zbog svog jezika, vidite da se trudim nešto, ali tako je to.
Odlično govorite. What do you think about this conference? What is the best advantage?
I think it's interesting because the conference is bringing together students from lots of different countries now. I believe it was just Serbia, but now it's Serbia and beyond. And I think getting any students together at a conference is a good idea because we don't get people together, we don't share ideas, we don't move forward. And for students studying tourism and hospitality, it's important that they network and they talk to each other about their different ideas, maybe about their dissertations, their thesis. And yeah, just general sharing of ideas and understanding is always a good thing for students, certainly.
This is not the first time I've come to this conference. I was here 2 years ago, and it's just amazing how the conference has grown. I go to lots of conferences, I speak at a lot of conferences, and I love that. And I can say honestly that this one is really, really very professionally run. The organization has been perfect. The communication with speakers and other participants has been really great. I always got the information that I needed.
Ovo je divno jer studenti imaju prilike da izmenjaju iskustva, upoznaju se i prava je kombinacija između zabave i izlaganja, tako da im je prijatno i dobro se provode i isto tako nauče nešto novo. I što je možda ono što je najbitnije je da spoznaju nove ljude, nove profesore i dakle nova iskustva, to je bitno. Ja uvijek kažem, morate putovati, morate gledati kako turizam rade u drugim zemaljama, to je to. Ne možete turizma učiti iz knjiga, dakle.
There are new people here from new universities outside the ex-Yugoslavian countries, so this year it's very exciting that we have students from Poland and Switzerland, Turkey. That's the first time those countries have come here, and I'm very, very optimistic that MEKST as an event is just going to grow and grow. It really is a super conference for students of tourism and hospitality in all countries. Great speakers, interesting topics. The room where we are having the presentations is full of enthusiasm, and the students have interesting questions for the speakers. It's a great event.
Šta je ono što je najbolja stvar ovog kongresa i ono što najviše znači studentima?
Pa mislim to da se dobro provode i da nešto nauče, da je to ta krasna kombinacija koja je prava. Dakle, ne pretjeruje se s izlaganjima, studenti su opusteni, dobro se provode i u divnom su gradu, dakle, i vrlo su zadovoljni svi.
Really helps a city like Novi Sad to have an event like MEKST. It brings a lot of people here for the first time. For many of those students, it's their first time in Novi Sad. For many of them, it's their first time in Serbia. So I really think that this great experience will encourage them to come back. That's my hope, that's my dream, that they will love Novi Sad as much as I love it, and they will come back for holidays, for exit, with friends, with family, because they've had a good experience. They've had a wonderful party last night. They're going to have another big party tonight. Those students are full of energy and enthusiasm, and you just have to look at their faces to see they're having a wonderful time at MEKST.
Šta mislite o turističkom potencijalu Srbije?
Jako je velik. I Novi Sad, Vojvodina i cijela Srbija, vi imate neke izvanredne prilike, dakle exit je poznat, sad ćete biti prestolnica mladosti i u 21. godini i prestolnica kulture. I to je izvanredna prilika koju Novi Sad mora da iskoristi dobro. Dakle, puno ćete raditi, ali mislim da će i rezultati biti dobri.
Well, when my friends in the UK ask me, why do you go to Serbia so much? The word I use is potential. I think this country has a super future in terms of tourism. It really is unexplored by people from other countries, especially people from the west of Europe. There's so much here for them to see. The cities are incredible with history, amazing museums like the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade. Your nature is just amazing. I go to parts of West Serbia and I think I'm in Switzerland. It's so beautiful. The traditions, the food. The food is really fresh and lots of taste. I think that's what's so great about Serbian food. It has great taste, fresh. So there are many, many reasons for people coming here. And I think that Serbia deserves to be on the tourism map of Europe. And I really want to work hard with people from Serbia to bring more people here. I feel like I'm an ambassador for Serbia. When I go back to Britain after a holiday here or a business trip here like this one, I'm full of enthusiasm and I tell my friends and my family, you have to go to Serbia, you have to experience it for all those reasons.
I knew little about Serbia other than your entries in the Eurovision Song Contest and that tennis player that you have. We're not allowed to mention our British tennis player, but no, I mean, other than that, very little. But I think possibly Serbia has to create itself a reputation of being a safe destination. I think there's still a perception that perhaps when people are asked about Serbia, they may be drawn into previous issues of conflict. So I think stability and promoting peace is probably the most powerful thing that you could do.
I'm very, very optimistic about the future of Serbia as a place for tourists. You have the infrastructure, you have the hotels, you have more and more direct airline connections with cities in the west, which makes Belgrade and even cities like Niš much more accessible from other countries. So I think that Serbian people are hard workers, and so that hard work will help Serbia to be recognized as a great country and a place that people should visit.
Kakvi su utisci vaših kolega iz inostranstva koji su dalje od nas, došli u Srbiju? Što oni misle generalno o ovom regionu i o turističkom potencijalu?
Pa po mom iskustvu tako je da ljudi, moji kolegi, pričam o mojim kolegama, dakle oni su najprvo mislili da to je Srbija jedna rupa tamo negdje Bogu iza leđa, ali onda dođu vamo i jako su prijatno iznenađeni. Dakle, dobro si živi, kvaliteta života je možda još bolja, jer nekako nije hitrosti tako velike kako u nekim velikim gradovima na zapadu. Tako da mislim da ste dobri.
What do you think about people here? We can ask something more about living in Serbia, because you're already here for 12 years.
Well, I have to say that it's because of the Serbian people that I love coming here so much. Of course, you have beautiful nature and fantastic cities, but I think really it's the people. Serbian people are big people with big hearts and really a lot of energy, and I think that energy is incredibly attractive, and it makes it fun to meet Serbian people, to talk with them. I think it's an amazing country, and the people make it like that.
What do you expect from Serbia generally when you got invitation?
I don't really have any expectations when I travel. I used to, but now I just prefer just to arrive and see what it's like. But I've been very surprised by the warmth of people and the friendliness of people. That wasn't sort of being to some areas I been to Hungary and to different countries, and the welcome here has been very positive, certainly, yeah.
Can you compare maybe students from Serbia with students from other countries?
Well, there are some similarities and some differences. They're very interested in the international situation. I had interesting questions, for example, about Brexit and the impact of Brexit. The Serbian students seem to be very well informed about tourism in other countries and events in other countries. They have a real curiosity to know what's going on.
Studenti su studenti. To su mladi ljudi s velikim potencijalom i to je to. To je to.
Those students from Serbia, one thing I notice every time is their enthusiasm and their determination to succeed. They know that life in Serbia isn't always easy, and they know that they're going to have to fight hard for every success. And that I really appreciate. In other countries, I think sometimes things come to students too easily. They know they're going to get a job. They know mom or dad will help them.
Certainly here, after giving my lecture, you do notice that people are not as attentive as they may have been in the first 10 minutes or so. It may be the fact that the courses at university are more intensive and much more than they were, and there's much more theoretical perspective for students to understand. Or it may be because students are learning different ways now, by looking at things on social media or looking at snapshots of information rather than actually reading large papers. So I think as academics and teachers we have to find a way to bridge that gap somewhere in the middle, to allow people to still create autonomous learners, but find a way to do that. Generally quite comparable. Judging by where students, were staying out till 3 a.m., it's a similar sort of story in the UK, really.
Serbian students, they have a real enthusiasm and a real determination to succeed. They're curious about the world. Their level of English is just amazing. When I'm speaking to those students from Serbia, it's like I'm speaking to students from the UK. I don't have to simplify my vocabulary because their English is great from studying, from watching movies, listening to music. I don't know why it's so good, but I teach in different countries as a visiting professor, and I can tell you when I come to Serbia, it's no problem to be understood by those students. They are, every man, every woman in that room is a wonderful ambassador for Serbia wherever they go.
U Sloveniji ima puno atrakcija, dakle, i odvisno od toga što želite. Najviše ljudi dolazi u Ljubljanu, koja je sada najpopularnija atrakcija. Onda je za skijaše tu Kranjska gora, Postojnska jama, dakle, ali imamo i mala sela, male gradove koji su neki naši zakladovi. Tako da istražite i vi samo dolazite, evo tako.
I was born in the city of Nottingham, which is very famous for Robin Hood, so it's probably the most famous thing. Yes, exactly, and Nottingham Forest, who are probably, well, as you know, are the greatest football team in the world, and will be again, of course. It's just a matter of time. But so sport is very famous in Nottingham. We have a very famous cricket team, Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club, and two famous football clubs, Nottingham Forest and Notts County. And Notts County, of course, are the oldest football league club in the world, formed in 1805.
Wow.
So there you go, little fact for you.
Amazing.
So that's a little bit about my hometown.
I have two hometowns because although I live in London, I come from the Scottish city of Edinburgh, which is the capital of Scotland. So I was born in Edinburgh. I still go there a lot because I have friends and family there. But I live in London because it's convenient for me. I'm travelling all over the world for my job, for research and consultancy and teaching. So it's very convenient for me to be in London because of the airline connections.
A šta mislite, zbog čega veliki broj turista iz Slovenije voli da dođe ovamo?
Možda zato jer znate da standard u Sloveniji nije najbolji, ali ipak je nekoliko bolji nego u Srbiji. I ljudi se uvijek dobro provode u Srbiji. Ne znam, moj otac bio je u armiji u Srbiji, on se dobro provodi u Srbiji, bio je negdje, on mi kaže priče u Somboru i tako dalje. I to su same dobre priče. Evo, moje iskustvo je isto. Tako da ja kažem mojoj kćeri kako je ovdje divno, ona želi da dođe ovamo. I to se, dakle, to što je fino, to što se dobro jede, što ste dobri ljudi i Slovenci si možemo to priuštiti. I to je to.
I encourage people to go to Scotland and to go to Edinburgh as soon as they can. It's a beautiful city. We have our castle, you have your fortress here in Novi Sad, but Edinburgh is a beautiful country. Edinburgh is a city of culture, a very attractive place, and the people are more like Serbians than people in England, I think. You know,
we are similar.
We're very open to people from other countries. We're curious. You know, if you're in Edinburgh and you're sitting beside someone on the bus, they're going to ask you, where do you come from, and what's it like there, and what do you think about Scotland? You know, we really are curious.
Tell me something about the festivals in Serbia, maybe. Do you know for them?
I've heard of the Exit Festival, and that's about as far as I go, because this is the first time I've been invited to Serbia. So I'm hoping to see more of the city, and then return to Serbia, and then I can tell you more there.
Mm-hmm. And what will be your recommendation for other festivals in Europe, England?
Festivals at the moment, I think, are not really understanding memory. I think if festivals understand group socialisation, and then they will be a better place to understand the benefits that they can provide, and then they will be much more popular.
The best time to visit Edinburgh is during our international festival, which takes place every year in August. It's an arts festival, culture, but there's lots of fun in the streets and things to see, things to do. So Edinburgh is wonderful, and I said to the students in my presentation, as soon as you get an opportunity to go to Scotland, please go and come and see another beautiful country. Parts of Scotland are very similar to parts of Serbia, with mountains and trees and rivers and so on. And Serbian people will feel very, very comfortable there. So that's what to do in Scotland.
I think at the moment a lot of festivals are perceived mainly from a sponsorship point of view. So they bombard people with sponsorship messages, and usually the sponsors that are associated with festivals are alcoholic drinks, for example, and so on. So you could argue that that's unethical. You could argue that young people are being exposed to more and more brands. But I think it's more than that. I think it's more than brand awareness. I think it's creates fundamental change. So festivals have that opportunity to create fundamental change in society, whether they choose to or not. Because people go to a certain type of festival based on their cultural beliefs or their musical preference.
Did you learn any Serbian words, maybe?
Well, now I'm ashamed to say I've been coming to Serbia for 12 years, and I think I have probably 12 words in Serbian. I've learned how to read the Cyrillic alphabet, and I'm very proud of that. So I can read words, but I usually don't understand what they mean. But of course, the most important word to learn in any language is thank you. So I like to use Vala, Vala puno, Molim, Dobar dan, Laku noć. These simple phrases I really like. But of course, some of your words are similar to our words. And for me, the most important word in the Serbian language is inspiracija, because I think that's what professors should do with their students. Not only educate them, but inspire them as well. So inspiracija is a very, very important word, again, in all languages.
I've learnt Dobar dan, and mushta is and I learnt no problem as well, but I can't remember.
Kakvi su vaši planovi i kada vas ponovo možemo očekivati u Novom Sadu?
Imamo dobru suradnju sa Teamsom ovdje u Novom Sadu i isto tako s javnom univerzom u Novom Sadu, tako da mi smo uvijek u nekoj suradnji. Zajedno pišemo radove, zajedno istražujemo.
My future plans, I've just started a research project in the UK which looks at elderly people and the use of events and socialisation to combat degenerative diseases. So I'm looking at, because in the UK we have a large, probably across Europe as well, dementia and Alzheimer's disease are one of the biggest one of the biggest causes of death in the UK, certainly. And this is triggered more by loneliness and isolation. So the one thing I'm starting to look at is how socialisation through events and the arts, so craft and knitting, however we get people together to combat loneliness as a way of alleviate, as a way of reducing diseases. So that's the project I've begun.
Yeah. And we really had a chance to see you here again in Novi Sad.
Yes, if I'm invited, I'll come again. Yes, sure. Why not?
You can be sure that I come back here as soon as possible. I'm planning to come back in February, because in February you have the Belgrade Tourism Fair in the Sajam Beogradski. That's another word I know. So as part of the Belgrade Tourism Fair, there's a wonderful conference called the Belgrade Tourism Conference, BTC, and the organisers of that event very kindly invite me every year to speak. So I'm planning to come back in February as part of that. So I always like to come to Serbia. I don't like to have too many months without a visit to your country.
Thank you very much for all of that, all beautiful words.
Thank you. Hvala puno.